Hey everybody, happy Wednesday and happy Halloween. You're here for Survivor on AfterBuzz TV. We had a wonderful episode today. It was called Aren't Brochachos Just Adorable? And this episode was adorable. There was so much that went on, an awful challenge that happened, and also something that I don't think any of us saw coming. So stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Happy Halloween! We should have played a Halloween song.
We should have played a Halloween song. This is our Survivor Halloween.
This is our Survivor Halloween. We are extremely dressed up, as you can tell today. We really went for it, but we gave it a little shot. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday night. I'm your host, Paige Bonanno.
Hey guys, Veronica Valencia here.
And I am Timothy Michael.
And this is Survivor Season 37, Episode 6. Aren't Brochachos just adorable? And look at our little unicorn over there. Isn't he adorable?
You guys,
You are so
I am,
adorable.
just for the record, it is something to do with Survivor. I am a Survivor unicorn.
Oh.
So every now and again, a player comes along who really makes you appreciate the game of Survivor. Its ups, its downs, its highs, its lows, its beauty, and its nitty-gritty ugliness. They are unicorns, rare and beautiful events that we as fans are privileged to witness, but we may never see their like again.
You know who I think is a Survivor unicorn?
Christian.
Ah, love him.
Did you just look this up right now?
No, I took a picture of it.
Okay.
Like a while ago.
just so
Thank
everybody
you.
knows-
Trying to keep the check me out. No, I did not.
Timothy was supposed to dress up as
The doctor.
the medic, but
Somebody had to see
he
a
failed.
medic the last 2
I
days.
also was supposed to be like
thank you.
a full-out Survivor player, and I literally just wore the buff. So,
I think you still look like a Survivor fan.
yeah,
You still
I'm
look
like
like Survivor.
I'm like Angelina. Like I have the dark hair, and I don't have a full jacket. I just have like a little jacket. So I guess I'm Angelina.
And Veronica's our fearless leader, Jeff Probst.
Yes.
And she looks great. You guys, if you see the side-by-side photo that she did, it's actually pretty spot on.
You got to put that on your Instagram. And
I am
everybody
definitely
has
going to put
follow
it on later.
Well, thank you guys for joining us on this beautiful Halloween, and thank you for joining us in the live chat. Let us know how we're doing in the comments, and we're excited to hear your guys' thoughts on the episode.
And let us know what you guys dressed up as for Halloween, too.
Yes. So overall, what were your guys' thoughts?
Shocked?
Very disappointed
Disappointed. Oh, by the outcome.
by the outcome.
Yes.
I wouldn't say that I'm disappointed, because we all knew that somebody had to go home, but I am shocked at the results.
Okay, so Larissa went home.
Yes.
And it was between her and Angelina, and I just did not see that coming, and that's not what I wanted at all. I think, like, they really did a good job. A lot of the times, like, when they're doing the editing, I'm like, yeah, well, you're trying to make it seem one way, but we know it's going to be the other way. And this time, I was blindsided because I didn't think that was going to happen.
Me too.
I genuinely thought that it would have been Angelina because Nick was the surprising one for me because I thought he was so solid. I know we all knew that Mike was very wishy-washy
Right.
with like, oh, I should go with Angelina because of Goliaths and everything. But Nick was the one who surprised me. And I really want to know what was going through his mind when he was like, I should probably vote out Larissa.
I
Right.
agree. And I think what really pissed me off is that when Mike and Angelina approached Larissa to vote out Nick, she was like, no, I'd rather stick with Nick.
Right.
And then he clearly did not do the same.
Well, it's funny, too, because I feel like a lot of the times, like, Mike was so weary about voting out Angelina because she's his other Goliath, and he says, what kind of message does that send? But the Davids don't seem to have that. Like, it's like the stronger team of the Goliaths always fear what the other Goliaths are going to think of them, but the Davids don't really have that fear, I don't feel
No.
like. Have you guys noticed that?
I've noticed that, and I just think that's just how they are as
Yeah, like how they're
people.
kind of programmed.
Right. I feel like with...
Because Nick wasn't worried about what it's going to look like if he votes out Larissa. For him, it makes him look stronger that he got in with the Goliaths.
Yeah.
For like Mike, it makes him look weak that he's with the Davids now and he voted out his other strong player.
Right.
So I don't know. When they were talking in the water, I for sure thought that Mike was okay with voting for Angelina.
I agree.
I still think granted, it's so easy to say this as a viewer, but I still think it doesn't really matter about original tribal alliances because clearly everyone is getting different alliances. I
Yeah.
mean, the Brochachos.
Yeah, come on. But it's like...
But here's my question. Sorry to cut you off. Do we think that the Brochachos are an alliance that can go into the merge? I don't think so.
I think for Christian, it's great. Like, because he
Yes.
has
No.
these guys that get along with him now. I don't necessarily think that they're going to stay together during
don't
the
think
merge.
so.
But I think that Christian can make those relationships with them. And I don't even know if necessarily Dan and John are that close. I think that they're just kind of all together.
I was gonna say, I think it could be good for Christian and John. Mainly just John, because John, from what we've seen from him so far, is more of the quiet type.
Yes.
He has the physical build to seem intimidating and go further, but socially he kind of takes a step back and lets other people get into their disagreements and take charge and stuff like that. Dan, as we saw this episode, Alison was like, he's kind of a threat, so.
It seems like everybody's been thinking that he's a threat. So, yeah, I'm interested to see, because he has 2 idols. So hopefully he plays them right, because I feel like he could easily go the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, so like, well, okay, for a minute, can we talk about just how adorable Christian is? But with his like little snorkeling situation, okay. Aw.
Oh.
He's like, I'm literally blowing up my self-worth with every step in here, but like, he's just so charming.
At least he tried, and that's what I can say about Christian is like, it takes a lot for you to get out there and try to spearfish. I mean, it's not the easiest thing. I've never done it, so I can only assume that it's not the easiest thing, and he tried, which...
Yeah, and Christian just in general, like, you can tell he's really growing as a person, putting himself out there, really changing. And, we saw that with the Rochachos is like, he was like, this is the first time where I feel like people want to hang out with me. I've always wanted to be that guy, and I started crying.
Totally.
It was so heartwarming. For him, from the beginning, I was like, I'm going to like this guy because he's so quirky and charming. But now I adore him for his story, and I think he has had the best so far development of any contestant so far this season.
Isn't it funny when you're like younger and like he's saying, I always wanted to be the guy that was at the party and everybody thought was cool, or like at the lunch table, and it's like, isn't it funny when you're younger, like you think these kids are so dorky and like you don't want to hang out with them, and then as you get older, like you really realize how how amazing they are. And like seeing him in a situation like this, it's so great that he went to Survivor and put himself out there and is changing and growing in himself, and I'm just so proud of him. Christian, I love you.
We all love you.
So, anyways, I mean, reward today.
Well, Klarna, just taking a step back, I just want to say, like, Angelina obviously revealed that the only reason she voted for Natalie was because she wanted her jacket, which I knew that was the case, because we were debating on why did she vote for her if she knew the sides of the vote was going on. She didn't want to be on the wrong side of the vote. Clearly, she just wanted that jacket.
See, but last week, I legitimately thought that she was blindsided. Like, I thought that I wasn't 100% sure. I thought that she legit voted for Natalie.
No, I knew that she wasn't blindsided. I knew that. But that kind of set off this whole spiral, which is why we all thought that she was going to go home.
And they said, like, she made herself into a fool.
Right.
Because, like, now she just put the target on her own back because she can't be trusted. And I do not trust Angelina.
Well, here's my thing. She went and told Larissa that she voted for her just because she wanted Natalie's jacket. Would you guys have told the person that was on the block, too?
I feel like everybody knew that, though. Like, they obviously came up with this plan together. Right?
Yeah, but to go up to somebody and be like, I just voted for her so I can get her jacket, come on.
I feel like she just thinks that she is so high up in her tribe that Larissa's the next one going home and it doesn't matter.
But wasn't that their plan? Didn't they all come up with this plan together?
To not for Angelina to get a jacket.
No, but they knew that Angelina was just voting for Natalie before she voted for her. Before she didn't vote for her.
No, I thought that they were thinking that she would vote for Larissa just to keep the Goliaths.
Right.
All right, I guess I just totally
she played up the blind side.
So when she went back to camp today, they didn't know that that's why, was just to keep the jacket.
They might have suspected,
that's what
but I don't
I'm
think
saying
so.
Is I feel like they knew already.
I don't know. They seemed pretty shocked about it.
They seemed like they were all laughing about it. And he was like, "You're a great actress. Like, great job." Like, it seemed like they were all in on this together.
I don't think so. I honestly, because then after that, they were like, "Oh well, she deserves an Emmy because that was a pretty good performance and all this other stuff." So,
I agree. I thought that was good acting.
So did I.
What do you guys think in the live chat? Let us know. But yeah, I mean, that I feel like kind of at the beginning solidified that Angelina can't really be trusted because if she does this, like they said, for a jacket, what is she going to do for $1 million?
Right.
Like, and I just really, her personality to me seems a bit like she always has to interject herself, and she always kind of like tries to lead the conversation and lead. We saw in the preview for next week. She's like, I'm the mastermind of this.
She tries to lead the conversation to make herself look the best in that specific light.
But I think she's going to make it far.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah.
I feel like if this was not the elimination that she was going to get out on, then yes, I think she's going to go far. A couple of weeks ago, I really liked her when she was plotting to get out Jeremy because I thought she was so smart and secretive about it. Now I feel she's playing a little too...
Cocky,
a little too upfront, a little... She's playing too hard. Like, it's very obvious at this point where I'm just like... I don't know.
Yeah, I'll agree with you, Veronica. Like, when we first saw her that week doing that, I was like, okay, she's doing a really great job. And then after this, it's kind of been like a little bit of a shift now, like seeing her more, her like real personality come out a bit. It was endearing at first, but now I'm not sure.
I agree with you both.
now going into reward. So at first I was like, oh, this challenge seems pretty easy. Like, that's fine. But then I didn't really realize that they had a hold of the coconuts the entire time that this was happening. They couldn't let them down.
Yeah.
So, and the ring toss is always so far away that it's a little tough. But the one team, Jeff's calling out. He's like, all right, everybody else knows how to play Survivor here clearly. And I forget which one. He's like, they're clearly just beginners. Like, Jeff with your shade.
So if you guys remember Dominique, one of our fearless after show Survivor panelists, she would talk about Jeff's shade constantly. And it just reminded me of that again because Jeff just likes to get on them, and I don't know if that's exactly fair because like when you're talking like that, I feel like it brings the group down and it could like throw them off mentally, no matter if they're in last place.
I think that's the point. To throw them off.
But that's not fair because you're not doing it to the other tribes.
Yeah, but it's like when something good happens, you call it out. When something bad happens, you call it out. Like I think that he just does that as on purpose to see what happens. Because you can come back. Maybe it'll motivate you more.
Well, I mean, in this case, it did. They did come back.
Right, and Alex kind of lost the lead really quickly for the orange team. And, but, you know, Tiva won, Jabini got number 2, and they got kebabs and, like, knives.
I was surprised.
Like knives.
And spices.
Right, and spices.
I was surprised a little bit at first. Like, it made sense that maybe Larissa and Gabby were the ones strapped in and not holding the coconuts. I was a little surprised that Alec wasn't one of the people holding the coconuts. I felt like maybe he would have been a little bit tougher. I mean, he was really good.
Well, he's stronger. Yeah.
He's like good balancing and everything that we've seen him. He's always been the front man for all the challenges.
He's very good at challenges.
I just thought he would have like, because he is a bit more muscly, he would have been the coconut.
Yeah.
Holder-upper. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, I'm always a little bit confused when the reward, like, they give them kebabs and silverware, which is great, but like the spices, like I would take anything else over spices, I feel like, if I'm out on the island. Like, yeah, it'd be nice for the kebabs, but like, give me something more substantial that I can maybe ration for tomorrow. Like,
I mean, but if you catch fish, then you can just season the fish.
I guess, but I can eat the fish by itself. It's not gonna quench my hunger.
That's true.
You know? What is that? What
Satisfy
do you say?
my
Satisfy my hunger. It's not gonna satisfy that. I would rather have some food.
Yeah, but I mean, it's something. God, Paige.
God, I'm being so picky here for
what you
Survivor.
can get.
That's what I'm saying. Jeez.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. Were there any other alliances today that you guys saw that you were like, oh, I think that's going to go pretty far, or that you didn't like? Yeah.
Allison and Gabby.
Yeah.
Gabby has always been kind of back and forth with me. I don't know if you guys have felt that way because it's like I like her. I feel like she's really starting to emerge as a strong competitor. Like we're seeing her in these challenges, and I'm like, wow, like you are a good competitor. You're actually doing these challenges very well. But then of course her insecurities when it comes to the men in her tribe, or even alliances on the all the other Davids. I like the fact that she is finally able to open up to someone other than Christian.
Yes. Agreed.
Well,
and I'm glad that it was another woman.
Mm-hmm. But she was also saying, like, I can't talk to Dan because Dan doesn't talk strategy with me. But does she talk strategy to Dan?
Right.
I think she puts so much pressure on herself, not only, but other people to, like, well, they need to come talk to me. Because I feel like she does feel a little bit insecure, like she doesn't know how to maybe approach Dan or John.
Right.
But to say that Dan doesn't talk strategy with her, I mean, I don't know everything that's going on, but I'm curious to know if Gabby makes those moves to try to approach Dan and really work with Dan.
I feel like it's all about fear. I mean, we saw it when Christian, had his little on-camera interview, and he said, my fear was always being ostracized and not being talked to, not being liked. But he's overcoming that fear in this game, whereas Gabby, on the other hand, they're both pretty similar, but she is letting this fear overcome her.
Right.
And she needs to kind of learn from Christian.
I think that's a great point. Yeah, I think that she really needs to start learning to, you have to get over those insecurities, and that's why you're playing this game.
Right, because it is a social game.
Right. I'm really starting to like Alison, though, and she said that one of her favorite traits about herself is that she's very empathetic, and, like, I totally can relate to what she was saying about how, like, what she wants to do is just help that person and fix them or whatever, but it seems like she really genuinely likes Gabby and really wants to work with her. I didn't think that she was telling her that, like, to put on a front.
I don't think so either. I didn't get a fake vibe from her. I always forget about Allison, though, because when she sat out in the reward challenge, I was like, who's Allison again?
Yeah.
But then she had the moment with Gabby, and I was like, I'm starting to like you.
I'm starting to like her more. And that's the thing. I feel like we just didn't really know her as much before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheena123 in the chat is saying, could Gabby be the new Hannah? And I and
You mentioned that,
I did
didn't
mention
you?
this. I'm assuming they're saying Hannah from Millennials versus Gen X, and I had this exact same thought. I don't know what it is about her. Maybe it's the awkwardness. I don't know, but something about Gabby reminded me of Hannah.
I think it's the awkwardness and like the insecurity, because Hannah was like that too. But Hannah really grew into herself by the end.
Yeah.
So that's why I would like Gabby to stick around so she can start sticking up for herself instead of just crying about it.
Well, I mean,
not in a bad way, but
right. I mean, well, to
legit.
be fair, I mean, if she keeps continuing to do this well in challenges, which she is, then she doesn't really have any fear of going to tribal. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but
right.
like I said, I'm glad that she went and talked to Alison, because like she said, she could easily sit there and hope that they don't go to tribal.
Exactly.
But she doesn't want to do that. She actually wants to make these connections. So I'm glad, and that's pretty much one of the main reasons why she went to talk to Alison. So I'm glad that she's not just being this, oh, I hope we don't go to tribal, cross my fingers, and then I'll strategize when I have to. No, she's going to do it beforehand, which just proves that she's a formidable player.
Yeah. The girls were saying, though, when they were talking, that they thought that Dan is the biggest, one of the biggest threats in the game. I mean, I called this out. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but why don't they see, like, I think everybody's just overlooking Christian right now. Do you guys, I feel like he should be the biggest threat.
He should be the biggest threat socially. I think that might...
Maybe not yet, because we're not in the merge.
because we're not in
Right.
the merge. But
sometimes when they let those people slip past the merge, then, like, they go and kill it. But he just gets along with everybody. I totally understand, but I just think that Christian is, like, one of the biggest threats in this game, personally.
no, I can totally agree socially. I think that he gets along with everyone. I think once the merge comes, maybe they'll see it, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll still go over... for the physicality of everybody. But the one thing I did like about Alison pointing out that Dan was a threat, because something about Dan, I can fully acknowledge and give him credit that he has been playing very well, but something about him hasn't drawn me to him yet, where I'm just like, okay, yeah, like, you can eliminate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. Angelina,
if
though,
he got
is
eliminated, it would've-
on point with it, because if we see the preview for the next episode, she is
Right.
on to Christian.
But we should, I think, oh yeah, that's good. I think Angelina and Dan, I hope that they kind of just get booted out. I don't want Christian to get booted out, because I want to see him for as long as possible. I think he's the biggest threat, but...
I don't know. I actually like Angelina a lot. Even though, yes, she is slightly turning me off the more we get to know her personality.
Yeah.
But if you look at it from a game standpoint, she's
right.
on point.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's true. See, I tend to look at everything from like a personal standpoint, and sometimes I need to get out of my head and like just look at it strictly from a gameplay. You know,
Right.
you look at it from so many different ways, but a lot of the times that's why I feel like if I was in the game, I would be so emotional, and everything would be about like the relationship situation. Like it'd be harder for me to strategize to really make those moves, because I would want to stick with the people that I want to be with.
Which is funny, because I'm usually the same way.
Yeah.
But in Angelina's case, she hasn't done anything so bad yet.
Yeah.
To put herself first, to where I'm like, you know what, girl, I can't mess with you anymore.
And I think Angelina would be the opposite of me, what I'm saying that we would be, because she is so good at strategizing and so good at the gameplay that would be her biggest thing. But she
Yeah.
can also be social. So I totally agree with you. Like, she is one of the biggest social threats right now, basically.
Yeah.
But I think Christian will be in the top 3. I'm calling it now.
I'm hoping.
Is he on my
is.
fantasy? I
Yeah.
think he's my first
I
pick.
think
Yeah, I
he's
think
your
he was your
yeah,
first pick.
He's going to be in the top 3 or top 4. He might be voted out before the top 3. Because people will know that
By
they
then.
I mean, we're still early in their
It's
storylines.
so, yeah,
But
17
I think
days,
that
so
I think
early.
Christian's going to be in the top 3.
I adore him, and I want to see him go very far as well.
Oh.
I as well. We also want to know what you guys think
Yes.
about your final 3. Is make sure you let us know in the comments below. And AfterBuzz, our network, produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, which you're watching right now, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit the subscribe button now for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz TV channels as well. Let us know you did in the comments, and we'll shout you out on air. Veronica's always on the live chat. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk. We do the show for you guys.
Wonderful. Yes. Everything that you just said.
Yes.
Had a different team went to tribal. Okay, what did you guys think of Elizabeth's big encounter today?
I was so nervous for her, not just because she's on my team, but I was so nervous for her because I genuinely do like Elizabeth, and I like the fact that she was able to say, hey, I need to do this to be more comfortable. And I did kind of feel for her. I did kind of feel like everyone was being lazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also like Elizabeth as well. I think that the way she went about it was wrong. I feel like, and Davey called her out on it. She was like, this wasn't a group decision to, keep the bed like this, and I've been waiting patiently, and you guys just haven't had any action. And Davey shot back, it wasn't a group decision to take the bed
Do it
apart
today.
and do it today. So I get both sides of the story, but I do feel for Elizabeth.
Or what if she said, hey guys, tomorrow morning,
Right.
or whichever day we don't have a thing, tomorrow morning, can we please set aside some time so we can do this, because you know what, I'm really suffering here, instead of just saying completely silent.
Right. Or even like, hey, let me sleep on the hammock / net,
Right,
whatever that
right.
is. I don't know if that's better for
I think
her
sleeping
back.
on the
but...
sand would be more comfortable.
Oh,
Sleeping
yeah,
on the
that too,
bamboo.
yeah.
Why
But
did-
I'm pretty sure those bugs will eat you in
Oh,
the
yeah,
sand.
yeah. But, yeah.
Gross.
I know.
I feel like, well, she obviously can't hide her emotions either, so it's like, it's very hard for her, but I think that right after she kind of went on this little tangent, she realized, like, you could kind of see in her face that she knew, like, shoot, now I kind of alienated my only other David here. And she was like, it seemed kind of like the Davids were now potentially against each other.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to just say, during the challenge, I felt like it was very smart for her to sit out after all of this, just
Yes.
because I feel like had that tribe lost, they might have looked to who, quote unquote, lost them the challenge as opposed to their emotions toward Elizabeth. So I was like, it's kind of smart she sat out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great point, Veronica, yeah.
I was a little concerned with the tension that was rising between Carl and Elizabeth, because if you want to talk about David, I mean, David's on the same tribe. When she was pulling that bamboo and he was like hitting it and then he picked it up, I was like, oh,
No,
is he
he-
going to help her carry it over
Yeah.
or is he going to like pull it back and this could be really ugly?
Right.
But then he says, that she's a know-it-all, and I mean, obviously they spend so much more time on the island than we see, but I don't get a know-it-all vibe from Elizabeth. So that was a little surprising to me.
Yeah, I think she's just a little bit, like, irritable. Like, not in a ridiculous way. Like, I think just in a very normal way. I think she's just, like, a little irritable sometimes. I don't know if she's a know-it-all. Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
I've really gotten that vibe from her yet, but...
I think it's interesting, just the episode before the challenge, these targets are being made. Like, Angelina's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, Dan is a target, and now Carl's like, Elizabeth could be a target. Like, it's...
It was weird, though, when she started pulling that thing over, and it was, like, hitting him, but he kind of picked it up and helped her along,
Yeah.
which was... I mean, what's he gonna do, pick up the bamboo and, like, slam her with
That's
it,
what,
you know?
not slam with it, but I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, I think
Just,
like, push
He looked
it.
really annoyed.
Aggressively, like, kick it.
Yeah, that's what
I would have
thought
been
was
annoyed, too,
gonna
but he kind of just skimmed me along right there.
Hmm.
But speaking of, what happened in the immunity challenge, so this was a tough challenge, and I don't remember seeing this since I've been watching Survivor. This challenge, a lot of
Yeah.
times we repeat it, but I mean, I'm wondering how heavy these saucers were, because
Yeah.
they looked very, very heavy. They had
Yeah.
4 people carrying it, and their hands were bleeding. I mean, what did you guys think of this challenge?
I thought this challenge was difficult just from a competitive standpoint, but it was very difficult to watch just because Jabini, you wanted them to do better than they did, and it was just very hard watching them just almost give up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could look at the teams, like they had strong people on each team, except Jabini had
Not the strongest.
Not the
I don't want to say that they're weak
strongest.
because they're
no,
not.
but you know what I mean, like the muscle stacks.
Yeah.
Like John, come on.
John, and then there's
John,
Alec
yeah.
on Vuku. I mean,
Yes.
there are like these muscle guys, as I do agree with you.
Right.
But I'm glad that they never lost hope. I'm
Until
glad
that
they
last
tried
puzzle
to
piece,
the end.
which I get it. Yeah.
I mean, at that point, what are you going to do? Like,
Right.
it's a fool's errand. Like, you could either try to hurt yourself by going back because you're so exhausted, just like Mike was saying. He's like, hey, let me take a rest because I know that I'm going to drop it if I
Yeah.
don't. And at that point, it's like, okay, well, let me put myself 1st rather than,
So it did seem like Mike was the one that kind of dropped. I mean, it seemed like they all dropped it, but it was like Mike that kind of initiated the drop, right?
Mike seemed like he was the person who was just holding them back in all fronts. Like, he was like, I need a rest, I need to do this, I need to do that.
And I didn't notice who was the first person to drop, but then the way that Mike was kind of apologizing later made me feel like it was him.
But in the first 2 times that they were bringing this big saucer over, Angelina was the one who dropped the most water.
Oh yeah,
At least that's how it looked.
That being said, like I did really enjoy watching this challenge, even though it was kind of like awkward to watch for that team. But I liked it's funny kind of because they're like trying to get this thing and all this water spilling out. I'm like, the whole thing is falling out. Like you have to go back.
Like, go slower.
Right, but like they were dropping just water left and right, swish swashing around.
Yeah.
And Tiva literally got it on their first try, and Jabini had. 3 times they went back and they still didn't have it. So they had to go back the 4th time and then dropped it the 4th time. And they got it on their first try.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
a lot.
I don't know. I'm glad that they still had hope about it.
Yeah.
But they still tried.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they kept going. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can't ever quit. You know, you just got to keep going.
Well, even I had hope for them because if we look at the first reward challenge in this episode, you know, they were last and then they came out and succeeded. And I thought that was going to happen again, but I was
And what
wrong.
if there were different ways to put together a puzzle and like they mess something up? Like there's literally you never know.
Yeah.
We've seen people come back from the end before, so I think it's just more about like making sure you stick it out to the end.
Unfortunately, it was just a washout.
It was just a washout.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so good though, but Mike was crying at the end. I mean, it's not, like he got really emotional for it, but you know they didn't quit, so that's the most important part.
Could you imagine having to go to tribal though? Because I can understand Mike's emotions. Like you are with these people for 17 days. Granted, that's not a very long time.
But that's all you're doing is talking to them.
Right.
All day.
Yeah.
But then having this like I don't know this like I could just imagine like this sick feeling in your stomach like we're going to tribal. I could literally be on the block and lose $1 million. Or if you know 100%, which is a rarity, that you're not on the block, you are literally ending somebody else's.
Yeah.
That's hard.
People that you've been very close with.
Yeah.
And to Mike's point, like he mentioned today, this is a very momentous vote in this game because there's 7 Davids, there's 7 Goliaths, and on this tribe that's going, there's 2 Davids and 2 Goliaths. Like this will kind of be the point where we kind of draw the lines. So I just thought that was really interesting to kind of like show where they stand.
Yeah.
I think it was I think he was making a very good point if we were going solely based on numbers. But again, I just feel like so much has changed that you can't rely on
But
that.
I think for that first, like, with what he's saying though is like this is the most momentous one just because of the way that the odds are stacked and because no matter what, people are still going to see Davids versus Goliaths. Like you're always going to see the white collar, blue collar. You know, it just, you kind of get that stigma in your head and that's what it is. But I think they realize that you have to shift and go. But this vote was just it kind of just showed a lot.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I feel like in this season, because it's Davids versus Goliaths, there are a lot more people that are willing to shed those titles and be like, yes, it is. The title of the show is called David versus Goliath, but at the same time, I'm willing to leave that alone once we merge. Like it's not David versus Goliath. Whereas you look at the blue collar, red collar, no collar season, and it was like these people went hard on their alliances, their original alliances, and they got swapped plenty of times.
Right.
So I like that they're not sticking to the people that they came in with just because of a title.
I think it's easier for them too, specifically with Mike. He might have come in as a Goliath because of how he was raised. You know, he's a director, he's an actor, but I think he just physically and emotionally relates more to someone like Larissa, who has been on the bottom because maybe based on his appearance or whatever, he's felt like he was on the bottom. So I feel like that helps, and that's one of the reasons why they're able to shed those very easily.
Yeah, because Mike doesn't, you know, he's very successful, has had a great career. He doesn't just come off instantly and you're like, that guy's a Goliath, you know?
Right.
Even though he was on the Goliath tribe. Like, you know, you never, like, there's, like Nick, he doesn't necessarily always seem like a David right away. Like, there's always those.
But it's funny because Alec is the same way. Like Alec obviously is a Goliath, but he is working with the Davids.
And even John, like we were talking about tonight, like John has this persona of this big macho wrestler guy. Like when you look at him, you think he's just a bro, but when you get to know his personality, I'm like, he's so adorable and so sweet.
That's another person that I'm surprised isn't on anybody else's radar. Like we talk about Christian and why nobody is why he's not on anybody's radar. John is another one. John is literally a physical threat. Like he can lift you with one
John
hand.
hasn't lost.
But then at the same time, nobody's talking about him, and it's like very interesting to me because I'm like, he's got a great social game. He can get along with anybody, clearly. Like, this guy is a threat.
Yeah.
But I hope they don't see it because I really like him.
Yeah. I don't know, though, if I would, like, choose necessarily to work with him or Dan.
Oh, John, totally.
Oh, if I had to choose between the two.
Oh, okay.
John. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a lot of other people I would pick to be very close with before I pick John, regardless of how sweet and nice I think he is. I don't know. I mean, we haven't really seen his gameplay yet because he hasn't been to Tribal, so.
Well, I think that once this merge happens, I think we're going to see in these physical challenge that he dominates.
Right, because he's going to be the one that does the individual immunities, that wins the individual immunities.
But
He might also lose, though.
Yeah.
He might, if it's like, I don't know why I go to balancing challenges, but if it's a balancing challenge, I feel like he just might lose.
Right, definitely.
I mean, just because you have a physical threat appearance doesn't mean that you're good at endurance challenge. Doesn't mean you're good at balancing
Who was the one,
challenges.
like, it was like last year or the year before, and they were like the strongest player, and they'd never won one immunity, and we were like, this is impossible.
Oh.
I can't remember. I mean, it's so many different people. But I remember being like, it was like a guy like John, and I was like, how can you not be winning these right now?
Yeah.
So yeah, you never know. But do you guys think that like Larissa kind of put the nail in her own coffin when she was talking to Angelina? Because she said to Angelina straight to her face, Angelina was trying to work with her, and she said, I'm going to stick with Nick. Do you think that Angelina was lying, or do you think that she did want to work with Larissa and Larissa kind of nailed herself in her own coffin?
I think maybe she did want to work with Larissa because it just seemed, and maybe even to both Mike and Angelina, it just seemed like Nick and Larissa were tight. Like, they weren't going to budge. Like, it was going to have to be Angelina or Mike that made the decision, okay, well, which one are we going to try and get out? I thought she legitimately did want to work with her.
But I think overall, though, she got along with Nick so much better than Larissa the whole time.
Which is why I thought it was interesting that she went to Larissa first to be like, hey, let's work together. Do you want to vote out Nick? And then obviously she said no.
Maybe this is all part of Angelina's strategy, honestly.
Obviously, she thinks that she could beat Larissa over Nick, which is probably why she wanted her to go and vote out, or wanted to work with her. I also do feel like, Veronica, you're right. I think that she genuinely did want to work with her, but at the same time, what Paige was saying, Angelina always has this other side thing going on in her head, and I'm pretty sure it's only because she knows that she could beat Larissa in the end.
Yeah, I don't know if I just don't trust her.
I have a question. I feel like it's so obvious seeing Angelina's gameplay. Do we think it's obvious for all the other people?
I don't think so.
I think we think it's obvious because of what we've seen, but I don't know if I was literally just thinking that when you said that. I don't know if, because right now I'm like, I don't trust the thing Angelina says. I don't think I would feel like that if I was out there. I think I would be seeing a different side of her, and I feel like I might fall into it.
I think that I would fall into it as well. I think that she's a very smooth talker, and I think that she's very smart. Obviously, you have to be smart in order to manipulate all these people. And if we look at the vote tonight, clearly nobody else is thinking, what Veronica's thinking, because they voted with her, so they kept her.
She's very convincing.
And I, like I said, Paige, I was completely blindsided because when she went to talk to Nick, he even said in his on-camera interview, I don't want to work with her. I don't trust her at all.
Right.
And I was like, okay, what happened?
That's why it was so shocking.
You know what? It must have been Mike. Mike was the person, because Nick said, I'm going to talk to Mike and do whatever Mike wants to do, because he knows that he has to work with him in order to make this work. And Mike said to Nick, I understand why this is good for Larissa's game, and I understand why this is good for your game, but this isn't necessarily good for my game because of how I'm going to be perceived by the other Goliaths. I voted, now it would be 2 Goliaths out in a row, which I understand could look bad for them. And also, it could look bad to the Davids too, to anybody, because it's like, oh, this guy is obviously flipping on his original alliance.
Yeah.
You never know how it's going to be perceived. So,
but then at the same time, I feel like they went up to Nick and they said, you could either vote somebody out and that person's going out, aka Larissa, or we can go to rocks because nobody wants to budge, and you might have a 1 in 4 chance of going home. And we've seen it in last season when can't remember her name, but she went home because of a rock draw, and she wasn't even a target.
Right. But I mean, do you guys think that? Basically, they were saying, like, this is a free shot to take out a really big threat, is what I felt like with Angelina. I don't think Larissa would I don't know how she would be throughout, the game as we evolve. But as of right now, nobody seems to see her as a threat. That's just what we all know, is nobody seems to see her as a threat. So this would have been the opportunity to take out her. And Angelina, she cannot be taken lightly.
No.
So do you guys think that Mike made the right decision?
No.
Because it was all him.
I don't think so. I think he might have made the right decision for his game to get him a little bit further, but I think it's just bad leaving her in the game, because as we see, and we can talk about this when we get into predictions, she's already causing problems with the merge, and she's very strong and very competitive.
I also think that it was a missed opportunity for Larissa. Like, we could talk about, did Mike make the right decision left and right here, but at the same time, I didn't see, and maybe she did and they just didn't show it. I don't know why they wouldn't, but Larissa never went back to Nick and said, hey, they wanted to work with me first. And I said no. I said that I'm sticking with you. And I'm hoping that conversation happened. And if it did, Nick still voted her out, which kind of sucks, but it's the game of Survivor. But if she didn't, it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that,
I feel like she just didn't fight hard enough
Nick
to
just didn't really have a choice, though. It was either going with Larissa or
going to rocks.
He knew that, going with Nick or going with Mike. Or going to rocks, because Larissa, but she could have done the same thing. She could have worked with them and then gotten Nick out. I don't know. I think that she didn't really seem open to working with Angelina. Right off the top, she said, I'm going to stick with Nick. And that's not what the 2 Goliaths want to hear.
Yeah, because if you know anything, these Goliaths will persuade somebody. And they went right to Nick and they were like, hey, look, she doesn't want to work with us.
But I don't think anything would have been different. To be honest, I could say that all I want, but I just don't think it would have been different either way. I think that they would have gone for her anyways. Even if Larissa was like, okay, yeah, Angelina, I'll work with you.
Really?
Yeah, because Nick is so close with Mike, and Angelina is going to do what Mike wants, and Mike's going to do what Angelina wants. So,
but Angelina and Mike both approached Larissa, and they wanted to get out Nick. It wasn't just Angelina that went up to Larissa. So I'm pretty sure that if Larissa was like, hey, I will work with you guys, then Nick probably would win home tonight.
I don't know. I mean, like, we heard at Tribal how Angelina was like, I'll go to bat for Nick. And I understand it was kind of maybe a ploy to get him to, like, not change his mind.
100%.
But I think that maybe she's just a really good talker, but I think that she genuinely thinks these things. It seems like her and Nick are closer than she is with Larissa the whole time.
I wonder if she genuinely thinks that these people are with her and that they like her.
Yeah.
Because so far, at least from all we can see from the 3 other people in this tribe, they don't like her, they don't trust her.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if she genuinely feels that. I wonder if she genuinely feels like me and Nick are good.
Right.
Then why not vote for her if none of them genuinely trust her or go for her? Like,
that's what I'm saying. I think that they. Okay, here's the thing. I think that they do like her. I think they do like her as a person. No, they don't trust her. But really, at the same time, who can you trust in Survivor?
Right.
Like, we can be on an alliance together, and we have been on the right side of the vote time and time again. Yet at the same time, you can turn on me at any point. So
I feel like I could trust Larissa. And I don't trust Angelina, just by
personality.
Watching. Just, yeah, what they say, like the way that Angelina approaches things and does things, and the way that Larissa does it. Like Larissa was saying tonight, I'll be with you to the end, and I believe her. I don't know, there's something about her that's genuine to me. I feel like you can pick out more genuine people than not.
I think it's the fact that Angelina came back and full out confessed that the whole fake vote was just a ploy to get the jacket. I think once I heard that, I'd be like, I can't trust this person anymore. I don't know why they didn't go with their gut on that.
Because it seemed like everybody was on the same page.
But, like, is that really that big of a deal, guy? I mean, like, she just wanted a coach. She's cold. I get it. Like, she knew that the vote was probably going to go toward Natalie anyway. She wanted to write down Natalie's. Yes, was it a selfish reason? Yes. But at the same time, she just wanted a coach. It's not like a do or die kind of decision. Right. So I don't think that's a huge thing, like a huge betrayal to be a target for.
No, I think that anybody's looking for any type of target, regardless of how big or how small.
Right.
They're looking for something that they can pin on you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Overall, I was disappointed. They really made it seem like it'd be Angelina tonight, but like you said earlier, Timothy, to see her play further might be, a treat.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Paige, about if Mike made the right choice, Eric in the chat is saying, I don't think Mike made the right move. You need to get threats out as soon as you can.
And, I mean, we see next week is the merge. And poor Larissa, all she said was like, all I want to do is make the merge.
Everybody
does.
Everybody wants to make the merge.
It's always hard
But when
being
they
the first person voted out, and it's always hard being the first person right before the merge, because that's a huge.
Which would you rather be?
First person voted
Yeah,
out.
me too.
Really? Yeah, I would, because if I was the one person voted out right before the merge, I would be so sad, because I always think back to Courtney from Heroes vs. Villains, where she's like, I'm going to be the best person on that jury, and she was. And it's like, if I'm the first person voted out, but I'm on the jury, okay, that's fine. I could be the best jury member.
Larissa would be a good jury member.
I think so too. I think she would be, what is that called, unbiased?
But see, I would much rather be the first person voted out before the merge than the first person voted out in the game. Like, first of all, I just think it's like kind of embarrassing when you're the first person voted out, and second of all, like, you don't even get the chance to play. Like, she at least lasted 17 days.
That's true. I mean, I can see what you're saying, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to, because if we saw from this season, Survivor is a very grueling game, and I wouldn't want to put myself through all of that for nothing. You know what I mean?
It would just be harder. It'd be more bittersweet for me.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
Think about the first person that got voted out. They just flew across the country and like put their hold on job and then put their job on hold, and then was the first person to get voted out.
I know, but would you rather go 17 days and then be like, oh, I guess I didn't get it?
Yeah.
You're still on Ponderosa.
Yeah, you're still like,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it, you guys.
All right, let us know what you guys think. First person voted out or first person voted out before the merge?
Ooh, that's a hard decision.
I know.
That's a really hard one. Either way,
question,
it sucks.
And with that, I think we can go into our Survivor MVP.
Yes, please.
Our special segment.
Can I say the thing?
Yeah, what thing?
The thing that Jeff always
Yes,
says?
because you're Jeff
yes,
today.
yes, Jeff Probst.
Okay,
Say it.
All right, this is my best Jeff impression. I'm gonna totally mess it up. I can't even.
No, you got this.
Okay. It is time to vote.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
All right, let's see.
We should have Veronica, aka Jeff Probst, read our votes tonight.
I'll totally do it.
Oh my god.
We already got ours in, Paige.
I know, Paige is like the
Oh, you guys already did it?
Yes.
You guys just watched
We
it.
do it before.
We did
No,
not do it.
oh my gosh, you guys,
is
she's
so
always paranoid about this. Nobody's reading. We're about to see it. We don't care about seeing it 2 seconds earlier.
All right, if anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you'd like to play it, now would be the time to do so.
Wait, here's my fake one.
This is not an interview.
Throws it in the fire.
The person pulled will be the first person, or will be asked to leave the tribal council area immediately. Will be asked to leave the AfterBuzz TV studios immediately. First vote, Angelina.
Angelina.
And oh wait, this is MVP, so they'll be asked to stay.
Yeah,
in the
they'll be
studio.
asked to stay.
Second vote, Christian.
Christian.
Vote number 3, Nick.
Huh.
Huh.
I like when we all have 3 different ones.
So who voted for who?
I voted for Christian.
I almost voted for Christian. I
because
voted for
I
Nick.
loved his development this episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was very impressive, and I feel like what you were saying, Paige, I totally agree that he is going to be a huge threat. He is a threat, and just it's going so under the radar.
You know what? I had my pen to write a C, and then I changed it the last second to Nick, because Christian, I feel like, first of all, he, like you said, he has huge growth, and also, like, he solved that puzzle. So he's so good at solving those puzzles, which helped him get, you know, immunity.
Yeah, I voted for Angelina because I also look at her as a threat. I feel like just from the beginning of the episode, she tells people she voted for Natalie just to get her jacket. Then she goes and, you know, she tries to sweet talk Nick in the end. And then she pretty much sweet talked her way into not going home tonight.
Yeah.
So she's a very smooth talker, and I think she's going to go very far in this game.
Agreed. And I voted for Nick just because I felt like he really played both sides really well. We didn't really know where he was going, and he did a good job of getting the target off his back, so it went to Larissa, not himself.
And speaking of which, unfortunately, because Larissa's gone, Paige, you lost a member.
Come on.
Sorry.
But I still got Christian, so
You
I'm
do
solid.
still have-
So you are still down to Christian, Carl,
solid.
Alec, and Mike.
'Kay.
Veronica, you still have Nick, Davey, Allison, and Elizabeth, and I still have Gabby, Angelina, John, Kara, and Dan.
Quite a few people in the chat are saying that Angelina was their MVP.
Angelina was?
She's so hateful, you guys.
I'm not
She's
okay.
so
Hates it.
hateful.
Angelina is becoming one of those people for me in this game where it's like I can give her credit, I can really acknowledge that she's playing such a good game, but something about her, if she keeps going like this, I can't get behind. It's
Right.
gonna be so hard.
Yeah, I understand. Do we have any predictions for next week, then?
Yeah, let's get into predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well, we have the merge.
Yes.
Woo!
So
And
that's
once
big in
again, like I
itself.
said, Angelina, if we saw from the preview, Christian is on her radar. So I feel like, and she's a smooth talker, you guys. I feel like she's going to be able to get a lot of people out in this merge because
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think that Christian will be the next to go, though.
I don't think Christian's gonna be the next to go. I hope that Nick was being sincere when he says that he can't trust her and he can't work with her, and he goes to Christian and they somehow
Yes.
like do something to.
Because now that we're past the merge, finally, all bets are really off with the
Yeah.
David versus Goliath thing. Like, now we're, like, shaken free. We're all in the same
Every man
pool.
for himself at this
Every
point.
man for himself at this point.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think is going to be the strongest in the challenges? Aside from, like, John, who would be physically strong.
Alec.
Alec.
I was literally just about to say Alec as well. Yeah, I feel like he's got I don't know. I don't want to say he's got the body for it because he does, but I
Yeah.
feel like he would be better at like endurance challenges.
Yeah.
and
He's
stuff like
just
that, 'cause
shown that
it's-
he's really good at taking charge with
yeah.
challenges.
But I could be surprised.
Yeah, I think Allison might do pretty well, too.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say Allison
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, and Gabby's actually been doing pretty well too,
She
so she might
has.
surprise us.
She might be, like, putting that mental toughness forward
Yeah.
for good. So,
Mere domains in the chat are saying Kara and Dan can reunite.
oh,
The
Please
showmance.
no.
I hope that they're the first ones to go. But Dan might play his idol for somebody else, and
Might give one to her.
we have that idol nullifier, so it's going to be a heck of a season now
Very
that we're in
true.
the merge.
Yeah.
And we are out of time with that, you guys. Any final thoughts that you want to throw out?
No, I love you guys. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. Thank you guys for spending your Halloween night with us. I'm your host, Paige Bonanno, and you can find me all over social media at Paige Bonanno.
Hey guys, Veronica Valencia here. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at it's me, Veronica_V.
I am Timothy Michael, and you can find me everywhere at I am Timothy Mike. Don't forget to subscribe to AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, and if you are listening, make sure you're giving us a thumbs up on our videos. If you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, give us 5 stars. We love you guys.
Perfect. Have a good night, you guys. See you next week.
Good night, guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.